afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Risen Esports. You see, there are three of us on the screen now. Welcome to Dominant Sundays once again. It is I, the freak of the DBZ. On my left, it is the pretty of the what two, and over here is the Trando of the Sill. What? Okay, hi Cilantro.
What?
What's up?
What were you even trying to say?
The
What?
intro of the Sill? Is
What?
that what you were going for?
The Lantro of the Sea, something like that. But good afternoon. We have AFK Elites going against Mystics. It is going to be a good day. We got Worlds going on right now, as a matter of fact. And it is
Of course.
slightly up. We're just
We're not down.
NA has to go up against either T1, Top Esports, Hwanle Life. Like one of those three teams already is just like, oh, Flight Quest.
Yeah.
Worlds. Chances aren't looking great.
Worlds is looking pretty scary for NA, but you know what's not looking scary? Our matchup tonight, like DBZ said, it is Mystics versus AFK Exiles. Now, when you look at the scoreboards for these teams, one of them is going to be a little bit different than you would expect. Mystics has still rescheduled one of their week 1 matches, so they are still only on 1-0 in their results tab, but they are still looking like a very strong team, whereas AFK sitting on 1-1, not the best result, not the one they were hoping for, but their only loss is to KFC, arguably our strongest team in Dominate currently. So, not the worst spot to be in.
No, absolutely not. And one thing we have to keep in mind is AFK is going to have a sub jungler, so they will be losing a ban. And that will be a lot of fun, I think. So this will impact the draft. We'll have to wait and see when we get there. Which so some of you who have been a longtime watcher of Risen will know that Cilantro and I are very used to doing tricasts. So we love that this TriCast format. We have lots of fun. Hey, how are the Bengals doing, by the way? In case just so I can throw it off topic for a
I don't
second.
want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it right now. No. 3 minutes remaining, and fucking.
Cilantro is doing his best to remain calm while his football team is trying their best to get a win.
Get fined, nerd. You can tell just off that alone. But we're gonna throw it to predictions real quick before we go into draft. So. As you will see, we have our lovely predictions on the screen. A lot of us going in favor of Mystics, except for Britty and Chippy. Britty, what are your reasonings?
I mean, Mystics is looking like a very strong team this season. I'll give them that. AFK coming in with the sub. It's not the best spot for them. However, the only team they've lost to is KFC, the strongest team probably in Dominate. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are going to be able to take this match, especially since they lost last week to KFC. They're coming back mad. They're coming back ready to find a win.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of wish that they had their starting jungler, because then I could feel for that more. So I am a little biased, of course, because they don't have that synergy with this sub jungler. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they've played with them before, but we have to wait and see what goes on with that. And this is week 3 now, so we're in week 3. We're kind of flying through this already, and it's kind of exciting to see how the league is shaping up so far. I think from here we can expect great things from AFK in particular. I believe we did last split as well, if I remember correctly. I don't remember off the top of my head. See, if Drake was here, I could be like, yo, what did they do last split? But as you can see, we have Quacks also going for the 2-0 and Drake as well for the 2-0. And pretty much we're like, yep, Mystics are going to take it. And as we know, League of Legends is quite the video game. So once
it's entirely predictable. So obviously the fact that everybody on the desk aside from me is saying 2-0 for Mystics means that they're going to win 2-0, right? Right, guys?
Clearly. See, even Cilantro agrees. See.
There's never been a time where predictions have gone entirely the way of the detractor. It has never happened before. Don't look at the LCK finals this year. That didn't happen. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Speaking of Hanwha, they've been looking pretty well so far.
Man,
I'm
so
surprised by that,
upset.
honestly.
I wanted Hwanle Life to beat Genji, because I just wanted Hwanle Life to win. But then I needed Genji to win to go undefeated for my pick'ems. But I still wanted Hwanle Life to win because I think that they can win the whole thing, and it would be amazing to see Zeka win his second Worlds.
Imagine Zeka's only 2 things in his trophy case. Well, not anymore, but if he had lost this summer finals, his only 2 things in trophy case: Worlds 2022, Worlds 2024. How goated would that be?
That would be so good.
That would be awesome. But we're going to go ahead and get into drafts. So Cilantro, we'll see you in about 5 to 6 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and bring it right
depending on how
back.
this game ends.
Well, fair enough. So I'm gonna gloat and say that the Lions are on a bye week, so I don't have to worry about them losing. So so we're gonna go ahead and get right into draft. We have the Oriana, which is the first ban off the table. AFK taking their time right now at the moment, and as we've seen, especially like coming out of like tier 3 and like worlds and whatnot, as they've been slowly like running, we've seen a lot of like Oriana, Syndra, Ari focus in particular in the mid lane as
Mhm.
well. So this is that misband
Well,
that AFK will go ahead and take.
I
And
do think
really
there's one mid laner that you're forgetting to mention there, and he is gonna get banned away. The Yone, which is I think still the highest win rate at Worlds currently among champions. This champ is busted, and I'm happy to see AFK banded out on the red side.
we have
It's a
a
lot
ton
of
of
mid lane
mid bans.
focus. Yeah, a ton
Yeah.
of mid lane focus in these bans. Good lord.
Is mid lane broke again? Is my time come? But we have the Aurora that is going to be locked in. I imagine that would have been the first ban if AFK had that ban, so she will be picked up. Has been Wombo comboed a lot with the Nocturne in particular recently. Just
Hmm.
that big old combo that you can get out of Nocturne Aurora is very interesting. I think Genji ran this yesterday, if I remember correctly. They ran it was the Aurora Nocturne, and I forget
Ari.
who was it. Was it
It
Ari?
was
That's
it
right.
was Ari because we were screaming about Chovy taking grasp on Ari for some reason.
Yeah,
But for
now
AFK,
everyone's
coming
doing it.
back to dominate, it is going to be the Zinzao for AFK, prioritizing that jungle pick. We were talking about the jungler earlier in the day. I don't want to spoil what about because it is a substitute jungler. And,
Mhm.
you know, solo Q statistics are one thing. So, just getting them on a classic pick like Zinzao, it's a good ganking jungler. It's also a decent farming jungler. It's a versatile pick that's able to, like, just fill out your comp however you need as it starts to get picked up.
Yeah, and they're gonna go ahead and potentially lock in this Vigar. They will lock in the Vigar.
Okay.
Vigar is a very spicy champion. It has a lot of denial, also scales really well, permanently scaling, I will add at that. But this does mean that the mid lane, assuming this is mid lane Vigar, it could be bot lane, but assuming that this is a mid lane Vigar, it will take time for Vigar to get to that breakpoint about 20 minutes per se, unless we can get him super accelerated. So going to be looking
Hmm.
to this jungler to get this Vigar accelerated, but flipping over to the other side, we have the Jinx being hovered at the moment. There's still, okay, never mind, they go ahead and lock it in. But Jinx is one of those carries that is really strong right now in the meta. We see a lot more priority towards Jhin in this instance. It's usually Jhin, Ezreal, Callista, but not too typical of what we might see in our leagues in particular, but a lot of these players do play
Hmm.
Jinx and Jhin really well. The Lulu being paired with her would not surprise me one bit. It is a really powerful, also got buffed this patch pick
She
because the shielding got buffed, or her passive got buffed, which inadvertently buffed her E. So that
Yeah.
does make her a lot stronger coming into this patch.
As a support player, I'll say Lulu
Oh
is the strongest enchanter on the patch currently. She is just that good. If you're not picking Lulu, you should be banning Lulu. And if Lulu is unbanned and you do play enchanters, I know you love your Karmas. I know you love your Namis. I know you love your Janus. Put Lulu in your champion repertoire. Pick it up, spam it. You will get some free LP. I promise you.
Speaking of Janna, looks
Oh,
like
hey,
we're
there
gonna
it
go ahead
is.
and block that in. So Janna gonna be locked in. Champion we don't see terribly often anymore, but is really situational and can be really strong. The shielding really good, especially with the items
Hmm.
changes that have come out. I forget which support item you prefer enchanters to build because one of them is really bad and you don't like it. And I forget which one it is.
It's the damage focused one is Zazak's Realm Spike, which is it's been nerfed hundreds of times. It's decent on poke supports like Xerath and Vel'Koz, but that's really it. If you're playing an enchanter, Dreammaker is the way to go.
Mhm.
It buffs your healing and shielding. It makes it stronger by giving it damage reduction and also giving your ally an extra little buff of damage on their first attack. It's just good. You should be grabbing it. But on the second round of bans here, Yasuo already taken away by AFK, whereas Mystic is going to start to focus down those AD carry pools, get rid of the Aphelios, a good hyper carry with Janna. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a Kog'Maw ban as well, just getting rid of a lot of these more immobile carries and forcing AFK maybe onto something with a little bit less damage, but a little bit more safety.
I like the Amumu band coming out from AFK as well. That can be paired with the Aurora, especially with the Curse of the Sad Mummy plus the Aurora Ultimate, and depending on how many people you have trapped in there, that can be absolutely massive. But they will go and take the table. You were right with the Cogbob band. So if they take that away,
It's still being
AFK,
hovered. Hang on. Wait for it.
wait,
They're
pause
thinking
share.
about it.
Okay, they go ahead and take it off the table. So
I
AFK
will take
here,
that.
they'll have to blind pick something here. Most likely it will be the top lane. I've
I'd
noticed.
love to see them just blind back a bot lane. I
You
think
think so?
Vigar
Okay.
is fine mid into Aurora. They're thinking about a top lane though, keeping that Vigar flex. I don't know how I feel about Vigar plus Janna as a bottom lane duo.
I
I'd
don't.
prefer them just locking in ADC, but if they want to keep that flexibility around, Poppy is fine here. It's really good into Aurora. It's
Mhm.
fine enough into Jinx, and it will stop a lot of engage, which is what this Mystic squad needs.
Yeah, exactly. And Poppy is really strong. We've seen it a high priority in this patch as well, especially in the
Hmm.
top lane. It's gotten some support prio as well. And even then, with Sejuani being Hubbard right now, it's still good that the Poppy was picked. I do think that AFK have a good like a not like I won't say a telegraph game plan, but they have a game plan coming into this game in particular, and it's looking like it's going to be scaling, getting tanky, having a reliable front line, and just having like Peel Echo.
Whoa,
Ooh.
insta-locked. Okay.
Mm.
So that is going to be Aurora top then, with Sejuani in the jungle and Echo in mid. I'm assuming it's not going to be Echo top lane. I don't think we've seen Echo top since the days of Tank
Mhm.
Echo back in the day. Don't want to think about that.
Neither
But
do I.
I think this means it's a little bit of a rougher time for Sejuani. I was expecting there to be a bit more of like a bruiser engage pick for this Mystic squad, because now something you talk about all the time, go buttons, as Soldier's going to be locked in. So that's probably in the bottom lane with the Janna. I like that a lot more. But for Mystic, go buttons. You love talking about them. I don't see a lot of them for Mystic here, aside from just Sejuani saying, "Hey, we're fighting now."
Yeah, I mean, really, for Aurora and Echo, it's going to be about the assassination of the back line in this instance. The two of them will be very good at getting back there, popping either the Aurora ultimate and trapping the back line into their own little fight, assuming, this Aurora comes out a lane ahead. And then the Echo is going to be looking purely for one shot. I don't really see much facilitation of this Echo in this game, at least with what the draft and what I'm seeing right now. I'm not really too sure what the game plan with this Echo pick is. Sure, if Smolder's little flap is down, that does mean free real estate and easy access. Does get bullied quite a bit by Vigar, a little bit. Not so
Yeah.
much in the early levels, but more when Vigar starts getting those items, starts scaling in more and more. However, we'll go ahead and like belay all that, and let's bring Cilantro back for his thoughts on the draft.
Yeah, I did want to say one thing here. There's something I'm concerned here
Okay.
for Mystics with this Echo. Diving on an assassin is already difficult enough in this meta, but now you're diving into Poppy, into Vigar, into Janna. I don't
Hmm.
see this working out well.
I don't either. What are your thoughts, Cilantro?
I think that if everything goes smoothly, that AFK should taking this one. Vagar plus Smolder on the same team. That's like the equivalent of having Asol and Smolder on the same team. It's just like once you hit a certain time in the game, those two champions are just you either kill them or you lose. And it's like you have two of them, you can't kill both of them at the same time. Maybe they can, who knows? But the amount of scaling, the amount of stacking that team has is absolutely disgusting. They play it properly, they
Hmm.
play it safe. They should be coming home with a free Dubskis. I mean, we've seen the world's meta recently where it's just like Yone v Smolder, who can scale better, who can side lane better. And right now, that kind of seems to be the nature of the game, with snowballing getting basically taken away with all these durability patches we've been. So the
Hmm.
scaling that they have is going to be what's going to help them win out the game. However, there is a lot of burst on the other opposite side. They got the Sejuani, they got Jinx. So if they can find a great engage angle, catch out the Smolder without having that flap, Glacial Prism on top of them, maybe get some chompers down, like full CC that, okay, we've killed one carry, let's turn focus on the next one, and hopefully that can be enough to win out a team fight.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just do think it's so difficult to do into this composition that AFK has drafted for themselves. You have, I honestly, if the 80 carries were swapped, I'd be saying the exact same thing. This is a comp that facilitates a hyper carry so well. Popping in
Hmm.
Zin likes to dive, but he's also great at defending with that crescent guard. Vigar Cage is just probably one of the best defensive abilities into the game, bar none. That cage covers so much ground and stops anything from passing through. It's similar to Archarm. It stops dashes. You're not going through and then stunned on the other side unless you're unstoppable, which there's not any of on the side of a Mystic here. I don't see a feasible way unless Echo and Aurora really do snowball out of control, which, like we mentioned, is nerfed. He's been touched down a lot of not only the durability patches, but the recent item changes that came out this patch. All of the
Hmm.
damage items got tapped down. Things like Death Cap, 500 gold value just knocked off the item. Whereas
Mhm.
tank items like the Dead Man's Plate or the Trailblazer, practically untouched. Tank items are good. Damage items are a lot worse. Hyper carries are good. Assassins in a rough spot right now.
I definitely agree with you 100% on that one. So this is going to be a very interesting game coming in. Now, this is a hilarious segue into this. But if this was going to end up being a Mountain Soul, which is what I'm predicting,
Oh
that
my
would be
god.
absolutely horrible for Mystics in this
Oh my
instance.
god.
Especially because we were literally, you and I, Brittany, were recently talking about how broke Poppy is, and
Oh
if
yeah.
this Poppy gets out of control, there's gonna be no killing her. You have to assume this Aurora and Echo can burst through her, which is not likely. I'm fully anticipating what is the AP Sunfire item. I already forgot what it is, but
Hollow
Hollow
Radiance.
Radiance.
Hollow Radiance. If Poppy builds Hollow Radiance, I think it's pretty much Jover for both Echo and her. They're not gonna be able to do anything to her, but. Yeah, I mean, let's segue it into the Dragon Pits. I'm gonna go Mountain Soul this game because it's kind of screaming that for me. And if AFK gets that, they're gonna be very happy that that's the soul for this game.
I am going to take a similar side but different soul with Chemtech Soul. The damage
Mhm.
reduction and the tenacity / heal and shield power on this AFK side would be absolutely disgusting. And I think if they get it, similarly, it's kind of jar.
All right, Cilantro, what you got?
I gotta give it to the side of AFK. I mean, I don't know. I think the scaling is just. I predicted Mystics, but if they don't end the game in the first 30 minutes, it's going to be looking pretty on Jovers. Keep the Poppy out of the fights as much as possible. Get that Aurora split pushing. Try and drag her over to the side lane of some form of faction. Maybe that's what the task of this Echo is going to be. Get him into one of those 1v1s. Who's going to match? It's got to be Veigar or it's got to be Poppy. And I'm liking Echo's odds if he can get some burst damage to get onto that Veigar. Maybe baits out a cage or something, with his ulti, gets the snapback. He can win that 1v1. But that's what I think the game plan is going to be. Get Echo in an isolated side lane 1v1. Allow him to get an edge to be able to win that. And then see if we can win out in this 4v4.
So, before we go to break, I'm going to casually highlight that neither of the 80 carries have cleanse. So we're going to yap about that when we get on to the rift. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere for game one. We'll be right back.
An unfortunate dragon pit of shame here to start our game number 1. Cilantro in the break did predict Cloud Soul, and unfortunately, that's going to be our first dragon of the day. So guaranteed, at least one prediction here is going to be wrong. It could still be all 4, but we knew at least 3 of us were going to be incorrect.
It's an ocean. I'll be actually kind of tilted. I'm not going to lie. But we're here in game 1. We got a classic 5-point stance coming out of both of these teams. No real level 1 shenanigans that can really happen. I'm actually surprised we're not getting a trade of vision from both sides, which is typically what we'd see. What about Spooky?
It's the spooky Vigar skin. Look at him. He's so spooky.
Oh my god, that dance. That dance is so wild. I saw a tweet too recently of like what the dance was, and I completely forget which one it is. But yep, that's a good Vigar skin. I might actually get that one. That one's a little fun. Now, we're kind of rolling it back. We're bringing it back. Junglers, it looks like they're going to start on the bottom side of the map for themselves. Is that Cilantro sounding depressed? What happened?
No, that was not me. Not yet, at least.
Oh. I thought for a moment like something was going on. For those of you playing at home, there is an unfortunate situation happening in Cincinnati right now, and that it's okay. Everything will be fine.
Not okay.
It will be okay, Cilantro. You'll make it through.
It's okay. I'm just gonna quit NFL for the year. Esports only. What comes on after World?
Should be
the
the
off-season
CS:GO tournaments. If you like, or CS2 actually. If you like watching Counter-Strike, there's still Counter-Strike tournaments afterwards. Valorant doesn't come back till next year.
Well, I guess it's just GG for me. I just be depressed until.
You just get to lock in on all the Twitter drama that's going on.
I get to. Where's the roster mania for LCS? Does that happen?
Meech is gone from 100 Thieves.
Well, we knew that.
That's wild to me.
I'm surprised, actually.
We knew that was gonna happen. We're gonna resign.
You think so? Well,
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that actually. But I guess while we're being depressed about potential roster moves in the LCS, we'll bring it back to our current game that we got going on. Heavy trade there from the Aurora. Not surprising. So it is the Grasp as predicted. Grasp on both sides. No really anything special seen for the runes, and it's so good to have Lethal Tempo back. I don't know how to say it enough. It's so nice to have that back into the game. So this Jinx, when she gets ramped up, will be really annoying to deal with as level 2s are taking over in the bottom lane. Junglers are on the same sides of the map right now. Might meet for this first Scuttle Crab. Now the Aurora is going to get pushed, and I'm pretty sure that Jake is anticipating that. So we'll be wanting to head up that way to defend the Aurora from a potential gank. Not really too much else going on around the map right now.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decently slow game to start here. Like we said, junglers pathing towards the same side of the map. I'm a little surprised that both of them are pathing up, but in all honesty, who's really creating the action in this game? We've got Vigar Echo in mid. Echo's just gonna get bullied out. Double Enchanter bottom lane with 2 hyperscaling ADCs. They don't really want to trade aside from Smolder, who just wants to poke and walk away. And then you have a tank versus a mage up top side. It's bullying or it's nothing happening. So I think both of these junglers are just going to be happy to arm up their camps here.
I don't know who got it. Oh, okay, Jake got it. I'm actually surprised because like Zinta had Smite there, but wasn't close enough. So I mean, at the same time, but it's all good. You know, just a little Rift Scuttle nonsense happening. We'll be pathing down towards the bottom lane for that Scuttle instead. Once again, here on the top side, it's just business as usual for Aurora versus Poppy matchup. Poppy will be kind of annoyingly poked out for a hot second. No way. What happened? Cilantro, give us the update.
I'm turning my phone off.
Okay. That means good. That means good things are happening for anyone playing at home. But we had a game coming out of the box side.
Happening for AFK. No, Guac gets pushed away. Now I'm gonna be expecting that to be happening with the first one in the top side that we missed, unfortunately. But Jimmy Elbow's probably given the people's elbow there to Ryder on the Poppy, doing his best Dwayne Johnson impression. Tower off the TP. But like I was getting at, these ganks, especially into the bot side, you want to play, get the Smolder ahead because. Well, and a head Jinx in the early game will outdeal a Smolder. So you want to put her behind as much as possible, but against that Lulu, it's going to be really hard for the Jinja to get.
Yeah, definitely. So there were no summoners burned topside. I saw that. My directed cam, because I'm in game, my directed cam was there for a second, but it immediately came back down bot side, and I was like, oh, this is fine. But I guess, that back hitting cancel is so unfortunate. So I don't know if it was just an unlucky trade that Ryder might have like disrespected the damage a little bit. But I mean, he was already low by that point. Did have to TP back. Jimmy is going to respond with their own TP as well. There's no way that got canceled.
Support gameplay. That's what you do when you're playing an enchanter in the early game. Your biggest gameplay is just, hey, can I cancel the other guy's recall?
Oh, it looks like we got some fun little map movements going on. No mana on this Vigar, so will not be able to trade effectively. There is a universe where I can see Echo pulling off some wild shenanigans. Okay, never mind. The ultimate kind of came back towards him, but we have Void Grubs coming up here in the next few seconds. Lulu is here mid, probably just gonna rotate down back bottom lane, get some vision around the map, just make sure that nothing goes funky here, as both supports are actually in the river right now. Will be spotting, I didn't think he spotted the other, but they do spot each other now. Just a little bit of poke trading.
And that's the most action we've seen this entire game. Incredible.
Bloodthirsty supports, man. Go after each other. Enchanted the enchanter.
Oh, we got some trading down here in the bottom lane, but not too much should come out of this. Now, we saw on the other side of the map that the Void Grubs is currently being done. We have Bryo from mid lane coming over. Echo is on the way as well. Do we just walk in and smite it? No, we do not. We actually have to go fight it.
Goes to the engage. Where's the flash out of Jake? Grace that person to engage in the between worlds is only able to deny one or two people, not able to save that jungler. Now Salty potentially in a caught out position.
Ooh, that didn't hit.
Find it. No big arcade. Oh, the ultimate for the knockup, but that's about all they're going to realistically be able to find. So it's a 1-for-0 trade-off, and you get one Void Grub as well. So not bad thing.
Yeah, one Void Grub denied for AFK, I think, is a fine outcome there. It doesn't feel great to get that kill, but also your Vigar has a Giant's built in his inventory. A really nice like I don't know if this is gonna be Heartsteel or Fimbulwinter or what from I'm So Vile. It would be vile to see that kind of a build come out. Hey.
Nice one. Because I do think in some instances, especially if there's a lot of one-shot champs, that I do see the Heartsteel come out for the Vigar because of his passive. He could just naturally stack AP, could just delay the build as long as he wants to. Oh yeah, the tier does imply Fimbulwinter, doesn't it? But anyways, just to avoid getting one-shot later in the game, we have a hovering over the Drake here.
Drake's level 6, has the Glacial Prism. Wow is not level 6.
Adrian?
He's going straight on in. The Janna Tornado is phenomenal. But you have to get healed on out from the heal. The Mega Rocket!
Oh my god!
Is it help Salty find the execution onto Glow? Can Salty continue to push on forward? Pop is first one to flash there. At least 1-for-1 onto the Echo. Jake looking for more. Agent Fire flashing forward with the Chompers. The W's gonna end up missing. Zap not connecting. Can they get the kill though? Eating the turret shots.
It's the Giants build. He's too tanky.
Be enough. They should be able to get the dragon. No, I guess they're not gonna get.
That was a really nice fight for Mystics. They stop the dragon from happening. They throw everything onto Adrian. They don't end up getting the kill, but they do get their Jinx, at least an assist, start to get her excited and start to get her accelerated in this game. It would have been better if she got the kill, but making sure that AFK isn't stacking dragons is a win for Mystics.
I definitely agree with you on that one. So they will go ahead and push in this bottom lane down there, reset. I'm not sure what their game plan, at least in terms of like what the Jinx build is going to be off rip. We've seen a number of things firsthand. It's kind of like, well, Jinx can kind of just build whatever attack sped item she wants first, followed by crit after that. Oh, hold on a second. Looks like Zhao might be going for Gate here, but the cage will go ahead and go up, and Salty just walks out. Easy peasy. Press E. Yep, you're free. Now Jake was in the
I got
area.
worried for like a second, but I forgot. It's Echo. He's fine.
Yeah, I think Jake being in the area as well kind of like deterred that a little bit. It's like kind of what walking down towards.
Oh my god, it's actually Fimbulwinter first. I was kidding thinking about Fimbulwinter. I thought it was going to be Archangels plus a tank item, but no, it's just Fimbulwinter Vigar.
But this also kind of confuses me. Like, I don't see the... Me, personally, right? You're 2-0. I don't see the point. I feel like if you just build to Ludens and then Storm Surge or whatever, you're like... If you need you need the tier item, go Archangels for the shielding.
We can come back to the school of thought because I think there's going to be a fight over this dragon.
Yeah, definitely. Jake going for the initial engage to level up on his opponent, looking for more young Adrian from the fight. Mom is there, trying to do as much as possible with the Crescent Guardians.
Oh, huge!
Knock up though. The Janna Monsoon, is it enough to keep the enemy jungler alive? For the time being, it will be as Echo's forced to snap back.
Oh my god, that cage was fat.
Not able to find Wow. There's now on the back foot is Mystic and AFK re-engages. I'm So Vile. Might as well be, yes, I am evil by Vagar there as he gets the execution onto Agent Fire, going 3-0 into the game now, looking for potentially more. Is just going to zone Salty away from the fight, and first dragon goes to AFK.
So there were a lot of things that happened there.
Hawk, my goat! How on earth do you keep your team alive as the janitor? That was some incredible support gameplay.
I've been thinking the same thing as I was like, well, they all kind of just die here, but the Monsoon there, keeping them alive. And by that point, they were all, like, the other side, rather, Mystics were already all out of cooldowns. So at that point, it just let AFK turn the fight in their favor. They pick up the kill onto Agent Fire. That gives them more of an advantage. Well, actually, they're still down gold. But in terms of, like, I think tempo, that is really good for them. It's a Mountain next. Oh, you Riot Games.
I'm still in it. I'm still in it.
Yeah, you know, you want to know something that's really annoyed me? Actually, I'm going to hold that thought. It looks like we might get another fight under these Void Grubs. Since I was going to walk in. Nope, does not end up getting it. They needed
prison. All right, we're all missing everything. Fair enough. Understandable. Have a nice day.
So,
is he going to go back in?
That would be psycho. There's no reason to, unless you're just strictly trying to deny the 4. Okay, never mind.
Okay, they need to get one more, though, to deny 4 here. Guo has to get this last one, and he's getting blown up.
Oh, he's trapped. Oh, the world.
Cross between worlds. That's a good little bit of zoning there over on the other side of the wall, keeping them from being able to re-engage.
I'm conflicted about that play. I feel like you can't really walk in. You already got the 1, and it's almost going to guarantee 4 anyways. So I think we just make the call to not even bother too much with that fight, as it looks like Young Adrian is doing a lot of damage to the Agent Fire here. Okay, does end up missing there. But I'm conflicted about that play in particular. As a result, Guo has to end up flashing there. Oh my lord, Young Adrian's under tower. Okay, that was real close. But the Ghost was popped as well. Not too much should come out of this, as, yep, okay, Pock will save their AD carry. Jinx does end up burning the Ghost. But I'm going to pretty much stick to my guns on this one. That I don't know if it was worth going for that play. Do they stop the back here? That would be absolute troll. Okay, never mind. They don't stop the back.
I think I'm right there with you, because ever since the change happened where you get 1 Void Might spawn on 4 or 5 and then 2 on 6, denying 1 Grub doesn't really matter all that much. You have to deny either 3 or 1. Getting the 2 doesn't make that much of a difference between the 2 pushing powers of 4 and 5. So you already had the 1 denial. That's great. You don't have priority of the Grub pit. You have a tough time getting into there versus this Mystics comp. You already denied the 1. You got your job done. You can just let them go and look for a play on the other side of the map.
Definitely agree with you. And as we're kind of bringing it back, slowing it down, we have Zins out here in the bottom lane. They do not see as the recall is going to be shot. But Jake is on their way down here. We're getting a lot of pings right now, probably under the assumption that the Sejuani is here. Well, we'll go ahead and back off. Now, the next streak is in about 2 minutes, so not too much to expect between now and then. The Rift Herald within another minute. So I'm imagining, hold that thought, as it looks like we might be in a fight here. Young Adrian.
From the Glacier Person, GP's coming on in. This one is looking like Vile wants to get into the fray, into the fight. The HP bars are extremely weak. Lulu gets slowed up a bit, but it was a little bit too little too late, unless they want to decide to keep pushing into the jungle. They could go under the turret here to shove out the wave. Vile's looking to push for it, looking to make that call. Cage gonna go wide. Jake's gonna spawn. Wow, recall. They want to continue to push forward. Crescent Guard is available. TP's coming on out. This one's going to be Jimmy Elbows joining the fray. Has the toss between worlds. It's coming straight on out. Guo gets polymorphed, and Vagar Cage won't be enough to save him, even though it gets 2 stuns. So they're able to at least get a positive trade out there, Mystics.
It was really unfortunate for Mystics that they don't get that kill on Jinx again. Not sitting killless on a Jinx never feels good, but what was that decision making from AFK? Diving that in that situation when you don't have the TP on your top laner and you don't have any extra ability to follow up. It just felt like, whoa, this substitute jungler was just a little bit disconnected from the team, making a call that the rest of the team wasn't ready to follow up on.
Yeah, and even following up on that as well, the wave wasn't there either, so I'm actually shocked that they like opted in for that play. When I saw Vile and Guo posturing forward into the enemy jungle, I was like, why are we still posturing forward? We don't have a wave, and it's a little dicey. Unfortunately, Guo does end up going down. The Rift Herald is open. I think Sejuani's doing it. Yes, Sejuani is currently doing it right now. And then we have the Drake up in about, where's my timer? Oh, there it is, in about 47 seconds. So this will be a really nice like pushing power for the side of Mystics when they get this Herald. The top lane tower is also sitting on like a third HP in case anyone's wondering. So that tower is going to be falling here soon. Echo has also been doing work in the mid lane on their tower as well. And this is just kind of Mystics' early game, I have to say. They've had a pretty steady gold lead for the last while. They're now 1,500 gold up as we're finally cresting over into this mid game. And if we just kind of want to go over individual leads right now for a moment, the bot lane is even, top lane is very in favor of the Aurora. And we were saying that these two assassins had to be accelerated in order for this game to be very feasible for them. And it looks like we're getting the Herald drop now for this tower.
Yeah, I mean, just getting this to pop the first mid lane turret and getting that full gold on Echo, I think is a great call. Like we said, Echo needs to be accelerated, and he's he's the assassin right now who is not accelerated. He's trying to get ahead into this laning phase. Got a couple of plays for himself. Now gets the full solo gold. Might even be able to push 2 here with these 4 grubs in pocket. Yeah, I think with the minions and the grubs, that turret's just gone.
No.
I think, yeah, Salty's just gonna die for this.
I don't think so. Still
He's
has.
trying to get out, but he can't. Into the cube rock, but nah, it's going to be a kill on over. He gets 2 turrets though for it. So is it entirely not worth it? Who knows?
It's
but
not,
we did get some more gold.
not worth.
It's not worth, but is it worth it? I mean, you open up the mid lane for the rest of your team. Theoretically, that should make the game easier. But on the offhand side there, Vile or maybe even the Smolder, Young Adrian,
Wait, there's no way.
up into that mid lane and just farming those waves. For
Yeah, it's Chemtech, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Let's go! Easy!
See, so it started out by mocking me and Cilantro first, and then it's like, oh, here you go. But Jake, I think, might be caught. No, they're not exactly caught out. There is support in the area. They will shove this wave in. Are they going to go ahead and make this play? This would be really dicey, I think. Okay, they're not going to go ahead and make the play. But with I'm so vile down here in the middle, I wanted to go something. Top tower is going to break right now. Oh my god, I'm gonna go ahead and let the minions do it. All right, so there goes the tower up in top lane. It is now starting to become a long lane for this Poppy. Ryder has been bullied pretty much the entirety of this lane. The Hollow Radiance is done. The only like X factor that AFK has right now at this moment is their 3-0 Vigar, who is almost at their death cap, 900 gold right now. So yeah, next wave they will have the gold for the death cap, and that means that this Vigar is going to be very pause. Vigar stat check.
Yeah, we have a couple of stacks to check on. I'd like to check on Vigar stacks. He's sitting at 152. I'd also like to take a look at Young Adrian, who has been doing a very good job in this bottom lane, even in farm with the Jinx, as well as now sitting on an item and a half, going for the ability haste build with Essence Reaver into Spear of Shojin, sitting on, I think that's 144 now, 145 once this cannon minion gets picked up. Yeah, this Smolder is doing absolutely fine. 17 minutes, it's a little slow, but it's fine to be a little slow in a situation like this.
And I'm 100% thinking too, is like this slow start for AFK isn't that bad, because once Smolder and Vigar get to their breakpoints, their scaling breakpoints, these two champions are going to be obnoxious to deal with, and that's maybe where this early game from the side of Mystics starts to falter a little bit. So I'm keeping it a little hopeful. Mystics are in a very good position, but with the scaling of those two champions currently, I do think that this could turn in favor of AFK. Now, we'll see in the next couple of minutes for this next streak. I imagine they want to hit second item breakpoints and whatnot, kind of keep it going, keep this momentum that they're starting to slowly build with their builds right now. Now, there is a chance that Mystics can completely throw this all out of whack in the next couple of minutes if they wanted to, as Jake is down here. Guo's down here too. Oh,
we've got to fight.
This is predicted.
Oh, they want to find Salt. BTP's coming on in too. That was going to be 2 elbows coming in. It's great cage. Good stun off. This TC is impossible for I'm so loud. Big one. Now the one caught out the crescent guard. Everyone's on top of you, so you're not damage mitigating realistically anything. And now they're going to set their sights onto this next turret. Still got about 2 minutes before the next dragon, but they can push this down, maybe even threaten a tier 2. The respawn timers are about 20 seconds. They could potentially look for it with these 4 Void Grubs.
They're TPing behind Smolder right now.
Oh yeah, it's Salty. Can he execute this? The engine fires right there too. Mom is not going to be able to help you every time. At some point, you got to grow up and your parents can't support you.
Yeah, I mean, in the draft, we were kind of a little doom and gloom here for Mystics. Like, oh, what are we doing with this draft? It's double AP solo laners with a Sejuani. Like, the draft felt all over the place. And we were like, hey, if they're not super far ahead at like 20, 30 minutes, and the game isn't ending at that point, we're going to start being in trouble. But shame on us on the desk. Mystics is up now 5,000 gold. They're behind in Dragons, sure, or I guess even in Dragons, I should say, and they'd rather be ahead, but they've got grubs. They've gotten all these outer turrets. Their Echo is super accelerated. Their Aurora has been bullying all game, and their Jinx isn't behind. They're in a fine spot.
They're definitely in a fine spot. Now, I will say the same thing that I saw happen today in the Fnatic Top Esports game. You have a Smolder. Do not try to make plays right now. Let your Smolder hit 225, which currently is at 169. Once we get to that point, I think that then you can maybe try to take some fights. I think giving up this next Drake is fine. It's just one chem tech. You can't fight for this next one. There's no reason to throw the game even further behind for going for this next dragon. Now, the damage reduction is going to be very nice, obviously, for the side of Mystics, as they're getting very much a lot of prio in the bottom lane. A lot of pinks also coming out here as well from the bottom side of the map as they're just stealing camps away, denying some of those resources for Glow. And this is kind of what we were talking about, honestly, before. Whoa, that was really close. I don't think you get the tower here. Nope, the wave will be going ahead and cleared out. But the Drake is up right now. We got a lot of pings here in the mid lane. We could actually have a fight. There's a TP coming.
I don't know if Ryder's actually going to make it.
A saving TP. Ryder was caught out in the top side and instead uses it to be able to get back into the fray. Despite the first guard's going to be committed on Jake. Could they be able to get killed? No. That's a tanky Sejuani. Echo has a little bit of a flank angle. Now they're starting to position and pull the fight towards this dragon. Ultimates were already used. Mom committed. Crescent Guard committed. While look at the side of Mystic. Everything online for them.
Everything.
I don't think they want to start a fight here.
Oh, this could be huge.
Comes on out. Lyle still has the ultimate in the back pocket if they can find some sort of execution. But right now, it's not looking likely. Trying to proc that W to the elbows gets grounded on up. Engages 1v4, but the Blazer is gonna come out.
Oh my god.
Salty is absolutely insane. Flashing on out is Jake still alive, still kicking, and they're able to find two. Bio flashes in, is unable to find a kill with the ultimate execute, and it's a 4 kill for nothing trade-off. They should get this dragon. They're gonna push in these waves, and Mystic is firing on all cylinders.
Salty with an incredible flank there on the back line. We were calling out in one of those first fights, Pac as an MVP for keeping this AFK team alive. Can't keep your team alive if you're the one getting one shot. Salty take Pac out of the fight, and then the whole thing just collapses for AFK and DBZ. It's exactly what you were saying. You're the Smolder comp, you're the Viger comp. You can stall, you can take it to late game. Why are we trying to fight in this mid lane for this dragon prio?
Yep, definitely. I think the second they blew, like, they went for that pick in the middle lane earlier, the second they blew all their cooldowns, that should have been it. They should have called it off, went back, spent some gold, and let the waves come to them. But instead, they go ahead and take the fight. It does not go in their favor. A 4-0. Now we're putting on the second Drake for Mystics at the moment. It's a 7,000 gold lead right now for them. Jinx has a bounty. Echo has a bounty. Aurora has a bounty. And that combo we were talking about with Aurora X whoever is actually coming out really well because Salty and Jimmy have been comboing their abilities very, very well. And we've seen what the damage can do. Now, AFK, I reiterate my earlier point. Do not, I repeat, do not fight until Smolder gets to 225. There's no reason. There's no reason you need to do that right now. He's 227 now.
He's online now.
And has 2 items. So this is spicy. This is spicy. He is getting a reset right now. Third item looks like, what is that?
Rapid fire cannon.
Third? Okay.
So it'll be rapid fire.
Okay, gotcha. So rapid fire is going to be third right now. Guo going to be spotted on some vision here, clearing this out. And it's kind of getting to one of the, like, that moment in the game where we're getting a little worried for AFK at this point. Actually, pause, like our stat check. 199 stacks, 439 AP.
This is the problem I think I have with this build on this patch. I saw someone in chat saying that this was a good Vigar build according to a Vigar main. I have my own personal problems with it because Death Cap got nerfed this patch. The percentage of AP it gives is lower. The flat AP it gives is lower while the item stayed just as expensive. So this 2-item power spike, while feeling nice for Vigar now, it's gonna take so long for Vigar to get to this 3rd item. It just feels like this Echo is already accelerated ahead with this Storm Surge plus Nashers.
Yeah, and the Death Cap as well.
With Death Cap of his own too, yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. This dude is strong, but looks like we might get a play here on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, great engage going on in chat, trying to survive as long as possible. The Lulu ultimate has to come on down to be able to save him. Now looking for the potential re-engage. Ryder has got to be careful. The passive proc looking Young Adrian has 225 stacks, so they could potentially lose.
Oh, he's alone.
He gets absolutely decimated. This could be a Baron angle. Vile, all the way on the opposite side of the map, won't be able to be there to save his team. Ryder goes for the knock-up to make him. Rocket is able to get the execution, and Jinx able to find a double kill as well. Can they push this into the mid lane? Or can they go for this Baron? It's looking like they're going to settle for the guaranteed pickoff, not looking to run it down. They could potentially have maybe looked to get an inhibit angle for the Baron while it's still alive and find some sort of steal, some sort of pickoff here. He's potentially looking for it. He's spotted out on the ward. Salty looks to go over the wall to be able to contest this jungler. Does he have the burst damage though? Knockup comes on out. Everybody's going over the wall.
Oh my god!
They did not want to take any chances whatsoever, Mystic. And this could potentially be one of, if not the, nail in the coffin for game number 1.
You know what? I was calling out the Mystic comp earlier for being not really Jinx-centric, and they didn't have a lot to enable Jinx. Shame on me. I forgot Lulu is a champion in League of Legends and is just the best enchanter in the game. So you don't need anyone else to enable your Jinx. All you need is Lulu to give her some buffs, and she is good to go. And even if she's not buffing the Jinx, buffing the Sejuani to make sure that she doesn't die on the front line. That absolutely should have been a pick for AFK. Jake engaged way too early. Looks like he was going to get caught out, but then, you know, Lulu's in the game, and Salty, again, a beautiful flank angle, one-shots young Adrian, and as soon as his smolder dies, the comp falls apart for AFK.
Yeah, there was just no damage left after young Adrian died. It means the Baron has been picked up. It's an 8,000 gold lead. Yes, I'm So Vile did pick up a couple of objective bounties, one in the mid lane, one in the bottom lane as well, to kind of chain some of that extra gold. Looks like going for that Void Staff right now. Jinx has finished Infinity Edge. This is a 3-item Jinx. This is going to be a very painful Jinx. Oh, wow, that was actually super unlucky on the Grump. There was 98 HP, so I'm So Vile couldn't get it. But man, oh man, I mean, I think at this point, at least if I'm AFK, oh, please don't get caught here. Please don't get caught in the river here. Okay, never mind, they see them. But if I'm AFK right now, I'm already thinking about game 2 at this point. The next Drake is up in 48 seconds, and I still feel like that they're not strong enough, I don't think. Oh no.
Whoa! They spotted him a little bit late. Now they can go for the engage. Will get stunned up and just obliterated Storm Surge Echo. That item is getting nerfed next patch. Thank God. Now Rice will make the engage. Mom comes on in, and the Poppy actually saved the rest of the team.
That helped
from getting hit by the smoke ultimate.
I saw the idea for Ryder there. Knock out the front line, find a pick onto Salty, but they just couldn't get the angle for the stun after the flash.
Oh, yeah.
Adrian gets slowed on up the tornado. Tornado not going to be able to save you this time. Ryder maybe try to find an engage onto Adrian Fire, which might be able to fire off all of these rockets and potentially end this game. Zazmap ends up going wide, but they got the Baron buff. They got all of the kills they needed. It's just up to Veigar. It's just up to Poppy, and this Echo into the bot lane is keeping the Veigar from being able to get back into the base to be able to help his team. Cage comes out to 2-man stun. Glau's back into the fight. This one's a Roar coming in. Has to toss the divide between worlds if they decide to use it. Right now they're aiming their sights onto Vile. Vile still has not that execute into the back.
This is not gonna work.
Between worlds, and Ryder is the first one assassinated. Now they turn their sights on the wall, but they
got Jinx.
They got the Jinx. That's the Vanguard putting in the work, able to find the kill to shut down. Can he be able to find more though? The Cage comes back on out, and Hawk is there to be able to help the team survive. And it's looking like on their last legs, AFK have survived for now.
Yeah, I mean, big pickup for Vile there, finding Jinx on the back half of that, but the earlier combo just did no damage to her. I think lucky to find a spot to burst her down, and big shutdown for the Veigar means that he's going to start to get online faster, but I wonder if it's just too little too late. AFK is 11,000 gold down, one Nexus turret still standing. It's 30 minutes into the game. The game's not over, but it feels like it practically is.
18-5 in terms of the scoreline to add on top of that as well. This next Drake will also be taken on the bottom side of the map. That'll be sole point for Mystics. So we got 245 stacks on the Veigar right now, which I think, because like you mentioned with this current build, I do think that statting is a little like behind where it typically should be at this point in the game. So maybe a little bit of a misread on the build for this game, because if that was a first item Lunins, I do think this Veigar would be a lot stronger than he is right now. But it's just so difficult with how this game has gone for Mystics, and once again, I know we're beating a dead horse with it, but the double AP solo laners got absolutely accelerated, so they've just been kind of running the game. And then once Agent Fire got 3 items, they're like, all right, our comp is alive, so let's just do what we do best. Now the base is in tatters as well. The mid lane inhibitor fell. I do believe the bot lane inhibitor is still up right now as they're bringing this wave in. All 3 waves are synced, which is incredibly good macro, I think, from Mystics. So this wave forces somebody to have to answer one of these lanes, and I think this might be the end of the game coming up here, unless, hold on a second. Got a lot of
Yeah, I do also want to say, Young Adrian's online. This is a 3-item smolder now. He's finished up that rapid fire cannon. He's over 250 stacks. He is a real champion in League of Legends right now. Anytime Smolder's in the game, if he's not dead, he's influencing the map. So if Mystics can shut down Young Adrian, the game will end. But if they can't get on top of him, if Pac has another MVP defense, they can keep their base alive, but I don't know for how long.
Glacial Prism straight onto Pac. They're trying to execute this support, but they have not found the pick just yet. So the first one, divide between worlds. It finds everybody. And Pac finally falls. Lyle falls next, and Adrian the Smolder. He was the first one that needed to fall, but he ended up being the last, and it did not matter for AFK. Mystics with a phenomenal engage, found the picks, found the fight under the turret, and they have found their win con for game number 1. A 23-5 scoreline. A mere 13k gold lead, and they put AFK in the dirt.
Yeah, an incredible game 1 for Mystics. Again, I want to call us out on the desk here. We had, what on earth was this draft? Oh my god, double AP Soul Laners, Assassins into Jada, Vigar, what are they going to do? Well, apparently they're just going to win the game, is what they're going to do.
Hey,
what
man,
do we know?
I don't know about you, but I predicted Mystics to go 2-0, so, you know, I feel like I'm sitting pretty fine.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much did the same exact thing, and like,
It's-
I'm trying to process it like exactly. I thought with like what
it was something that we see all the time. It was these teams with scaling comps, with scaling advantages, pressuring for early game fights, trying to play for early game objectives, and they just didn't have to.
And I think that's something we're probably going to talk about quite a lot, like in between breaks. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the post game right now, and there it is. That gold grab just kept going up and up and up and up, and it just got out of hand way too quick for the side of AFK. And I think coming into game 2, and there's just multi damage right there, 24k. If like, and oh my god, that Vigar damage I feel like could have been much more if it was a Luden's first item instead of a Fimbulwinter. But going into game 2, I think AFK realized now that with this kind of draft that Mystics can pull off, it'll change what their draft is coming into this next game. And I'm pretty excited to where we can see, wait, we're doing Fearless, right? We're not doing full Fearless, we're doing partial Fearless, right?
Yes, I believe we are. We have, so there won't be any Smolder Vigar available for AFK. There's no salty runbacks here. If Mystics want to pick up Smolder or Vigar, they have the ability to, but they are not going to be able to pick that same kind of scaling comp anymore unless it is going to be something like a Jinx or something like a Kog'Maw. So the drafts are going to shift up coming into game number 2. And boys, I don't know about you, but I think we're in for a banger game number 2, whether it's Mystics or AFK taking it.
I definitely agree with you on that one. But when we're going to find that out in the next few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get a breather, take a quick break. And when we come back, you know, just look at those band champions on the screen. But when we come back, we're going to be right back for draft for game 2. So don't go anywhere. Gonna keep it a little chill with this draft coming into game 2. Welcome back to Risen Esports Dominant. I am DBZ Freak. That is Britty on the other side. Hello, we're back. Game 2. Mystic, go ahead, ban the Oriana first. Now, like last game, AFK is going to miss the first ban, so we're not going to be entirely too sure of what they're going to go ahead and pick. Oh, what? Wait, Britty, what's that below us right there? What is that?
I think that's something called fearless bans, DBC. Now, if you are unaware of what fearless bans are, in a series that is a best of 3 or best of 5, the champions that you have picked for your side and your side only will be unavailable for you for the rest of the series. So, like with Mystic just banning away that Aurora, they couldn't pick the Aurora themselves. So banning it away, even on blue side, I think is a smart pick here. It does leave up the Syndra that was banned away last game, which is now going to be picked up by them.
And we saw how well Salty played in the previous game, so kind of excited to see what they can do on this champion. Now the Hui, wow, I rolled by H on that one pretty hard. So the Hui, yeah, it's like Hui. Hui currently being hovered right now at the moment has kind of fallen out of favor as of recently, but buffed more for the support role with the shielding buff that was given. So is a flex pick right now at this moment, could be whichever have, but the Jarvan going to be go ahead and insta-locked for AFK. Jarvan is a very strong engaged comp. So are we telegraphing the MF pick for later? Maybe that is potentially what AFK could be going for. Ezreal is going to be the lock-in. Ezreal Karma to be exact. Okay.
I like this. This is really good. I was talking about how Lulu is one of the best enchanters in the game currently. Karma's right there behind her. She's also very good. Provides a little bit more damage in the early game and a little bit less utility in the late game. Polymorph is kind of a busted ability, but it does mean that you'll have a little bit more damage in the early game, and especially combined with Ezreal, you're gonna have a lot of poke as Kog'Maw's being hovered. This was banned away last second phase by Mystic, and now it's going to be locked in. This does mean that there are going to be some support bans targeted, I assume, against AFK, but Kog'Maw's pretty good right now. There's a secret AP build kind of rolling around out there with a Nashor's Tooth abuse. I don't think this will be what we see today, but it's possible.
So it looks like AFK is going to go ahead and pinch the jungle pool. I do agree with you. Probably the support pool is going to be pinched. I can see Janna Lulu being banned right off rip. So there's the Lulu ban right there. And then maybe another jungler coming off. No, they're going to go ahead and maybe go for the Camille ban here, which actually would make sense. You don't want someone like her to get on top of your Kog'Maw because he's very immobile, has to stand still most of the time for some of these fights anyway. So taking that off the table. Now Mystic here, they'll go ahead and go with the Milio. Okay, never mind. So they go with the Ornn ban.
Wait, yeah. They can't pick Janna.
Yeah, that's right. So that makes a lot of sense. But
Milio still available for them if they want it. I think Kog'Maw Milio is a strong enough bottom lane. I don't know if it's strong enough to deal with Ezreal Karma, but in the mid lane game especially, it will enable Kog'Maw to do some seriously disgusting things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just locked that one away. I'd be shocked if we saw Nami. But Milio with the heals and shields in the early game is going to make this poke lane a lot easier to deal with.
So Mystic here with the B4, B5 pick. So they will go ahead and pick their jungler and their top laner here. Xin Zhao going to be go ahead and get the lock in because they couldn't pick Sejuani this game anyways, which hilariously would have been a really good pick coming into this game. But they will go ahead and hover the Xin Zhao, which I think is fine. There are probably a couple other options of what they could go for. Vi is open if they wanted to go for that. They will go ahead and lock that in. Now, I guess you can kind of pick whatever you want here in the top lane. You know it's blind. I mean, there's still a lot that's open. Jax is pretty popular. Gnar has been very popular, as we've seen in Worlds. K'Sante is still open. They're going to be between Aatrox and Gnar. Gwen could be another interesting pick as well. I could see the Aatrox pick coming in if he comes out of this laning phase really strong, like their top laner did in the previous game on the Aurora. It could be an absolute nightmare for this backline. We've seen what Fed Aatroxes can do. Now, granted, this is probably post like 5 or 6 nerfs, but the Mordekaiser being the answer into it could be spicy. The Shen I could see even more because you're going for protect the Kog'Maw. I would absolutely love Kled here. Yes. Okay. So they go ahead and lock the Kled in. I was about to say, because like Kled is a counter pick to Aatrox, how annoying Kled can be. You have a thought on that. And let's bring Cilantro back before we get to that.
Yeah, anytime that there's a hyper carry locked in a game, I think you always have to be thinking, hey, how are we going to make sure that this hyper carry is able to play the game? And there's 2 schools of thought with this. Either we put enough support and enough utility behind them that they are unkillable. The other school of thought is, hey, we put enough threat on the enemy backline, we put enough threat on the enemy front line that they have to deal with them before dealing with our hyper carry. AFK has gone for the second. They are saying, hey, we have Jarvan, Hui, Kled. They are going to not dive you with Hwei per se, but Hui's got a lot of range. He's going to follow up on the dive that Jarvan and Kled are doing, and Kog'Maw is going to be untouched in the back. I don't know how well that's going to work versus Xin Zhao, Aatrox, and Ezreal Syndra with a lot of range of their own, but I think it's certainly worth a shot. I think the AFK has not a lot worse of a draft, but I think a lot less winning draft than they did from game number 1.
Okay. Cilantro, thoughts?
You know, we talked and talked and talked. Draft last time around. The game, you know,
You're cutting in and out there, bud.
You know, Black Friday is not that far away.
I think it might be your sensitivity. Cilantro did just move into a new place, so just still fiddling with the settings and making sure that you
my
are.
mic doesn't have a gain thing on it. It just, it's.
You may just need to bring it a little closer to your face. Then we'll figure it out.
I just need to throw it in the trash like Zach Taylor. And so coming into this, I'm just gonna hype the hell out of Mystics. You know, 2-0. Let's go for it. Let's go for it, boys. We got this, right? You've got Ezreal Karma, very phenomenal poke bot lane. I'm not gonna be expecting the side of AFK to have any fun. Sure, you have Kog'Maw Milia. That's funny. That maybe worked before and on paper, but we're just gonna skill shot you and just win. And then you've got, you know, Syndra, Aatrox, Syndra, phenomenal burst champion. She can go untouched in all these fights. I'm going to be expecting some Storm Surge, Squall executions coming down, calling in the thunder. And so I'm full riding the Mystics train here to take this one clean 2-0. I mean, they were not favored according to our drafts last time, but they came out and put on a performance. So I'm going to be expecting them to be extremely comfortable on these champions that they've locked in, and they're going to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one. I'm going to try to avoid playing favoritism here because I do love Kled as a champion. Now, if this Kled does end up being useless, this does mean this Aatrox will get out of control real quick, and that backline access we were talking about with the Jarvan and him will kind of not matter as much. So the game plan for AFK this game is going to be, once again, we are scaling. If we fall behind, you don't have to fight. Kog'Maw needs at least 2.5 items before he starts being that obnoxious late game carry. AFK seem to love drafting these late game comps, and I understand it. I mean, the game has shifted more towards later game stages anyways, so I think that's okay to do. But if you're going to play it, you have to play it like you know you have to scale. So taking bad fights like they did in the previous game that bit them in the butt could potentially happen again, and they'll be facing a 2-0 loss. But in this instance, I think if they kind of get their act together a little bit, kind of understand how to play this draft, I think they can come out with a win on this one. But that's a prediction for 45 minutes from now. But kind of have to wait and see.
Now, I'm gonna say, as the resident AFK supporter on this desk, and the one who was saying, "Hey, they're coming into day 2-0," my faith is unshaken. It's not a 2-0. It's going to be a 2-1 for AFK. This draft is fantastic for them. I like the Jarvan Kled. It's going to be able to dive backline. Ezreal, yeah, sure, he's mobile, but Syndra isn't. If she gets caught inside that Cataclysm, she's just going to die. And hey, if your Syndra doesn't have backline access, Kog'Maw's got Emilio on top of him, has a Hwei as well for some extra utility. How the heck are Aatrox and Xin Zhao going to get on top of this guy? They've got no chance. This is going to be a super simple takeaway for AFK here. Kog'Maw's going to get out of control. They're going to take smarter fights because they just got a little bit whooped in the last game, taking a lot of bad fights, and they're going to learn from them. They're going to say, hey, we don't have to fight every time. We don't have to try and engage fights. They've got good go buttons for when they do, but they don't need to. They're going to learn from it. They're going to play better in this game number 2, and they're going to take it away.
All right, Dragon predictions rather for this game. So, Brittany, you were correct in the previous game. So go ahead and give us your Drake prediction. Are you going to double down or pick a different one?
Run it back. Run it back. It's another Chemtech soul. I feel it in my bones.
Okay, I can see that. Cilantro, what Drake you got?
I'm going with a Ocean Dragon.
Okay, Ocean. I'm gonna go Hex Tech this game. I can see also Cloud as well, but I'm gonna stick with my Hex Tech prediction on this one. But Spectale is getting ready to start soon. I actually want to see the summoners first before we do that. Are we taking Cleanse this game? There is one person that should be taking it. Ezreal, no, actually. But Kog'Maw,
I don't think so. The only CC that's really gonna kill Kog'Maw is Syndra Stun. Everything else is damage and knockups. I think it's just
Oh, it's
barrier.
barrier.
You
Okay.
just stay safe. It is also
Okay.
Ignite though for that Kled in the top side.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say,
looking for some kills.
I was looking at the statistics, and Kled has a 55% win rate into Aatrox at the moment. So
Ooh.
I was expecting an Ignite to be coming out here.
All right, so Faber coming in here with this next game, but that'll do it for us. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be game 2, or are we gonna go to game 3? Maybe, or are we gonna end the night early? Don't go anywhere.
It's game 3.
You guys want to see the funniest thing in the world right now?
No!
I never failed to succeed in guessing the first dragon.
Not the 2 for 2.
I never
Yep.
failed to succeed in guessing the first dragon. Never.
I was gonna
once have I
say,
failed.
I think that was the trend in Unstoppable for me, you, and Darter. You kept getting the first or second Drake like every game. It was so unfortunate. Oh no, it was the second Drake. You were best at guessing what the second Drake in the game was gonna be, because I was Dragon Pit ashamed about 1,000,000 times that time. So welcome to my world, bucko. Anyway, so game 2 right now, we have AFK on the red side once again and Misty's on the blue side. Different draft from both of these teams coming up, because Lamau, we have Fearless Draft, and coming out from there, Not too much really expecting going on. We had a 5 point for a hot second, but the bottom lane of Mystic gets a little bit of a push up into this bush, as we can see. Now, this is expected because Karma Ezreal is very poke heavy, very annoying to deal with. They pump out a lot of annoying damage. But with this Milio, I do think some of it is going to be negated. Both junglers starting on opposite sides of the map. Thank God we don't get lane swaps here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Now, DBZ, you know I am opinionated about supports. I talk about them all the time. I am a constant purveyor of, hey, rune and summoner choices matter a lot. Item choices matter a lot for supports. As young Adrian just gets the brakes beaten off of it for that level 1 trade. But it is airy on Karma here, and that gives me faith that we're not going to be seeing Malignance plus Zazax here. And I couldn't be more thrilled.
I think we went over this a couple of weeks ago. How much you didn't like Zazax on Karma because it's been nerfed so much. I think you even mentioned go for the oh my god, what's it called?
Go for Dreammaker. Yeah, just go for Dreammaker every game. Whether you're going Malignance or not, go Dreammaker. It's just that good.
I don't know why I thought it was like Dreamweaver or something. Maybe that was an item like back in like season 2 or something, and that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, this poke lane in the bottom is going to be very annoying. This Kled matchup is going exactly as expected. Are we getting the Jarvan Hivemind 3 camps into gank? Hold on a second.
Oh my god. That's a flash.
Already, Jimmy has to burn the flash. They find the W's to knock up. He lays the Q3, but it's not going to be enough. First blood over to Guao on the J forward.
All right. So
Jarvan Hivemind. There it is.
I was gonna say, are we getting, for those of you who don't know, it is called the Jarvan Hivemind, where you go, and I wish Darter was here in chat for this, but it's 3 camps into gank, 2 camps into gank, 1 camp into gank, then no camps into gank. So just kind of accelerating leads, and I did say that with this Kled is a large nuisance for this Aatrox. So getting that first blood, it didn't go to Kled, which would have been much better, but Guo ended up getting the first blood there. The Ignite tick would have taken it, I think, but they go ahead and just go for the secure kill. Jake is behind Vile right now. This could be bad.
Flash?
Great engage out of Jake, forcing the flash out already. Syndra's got of the week's gonna be able to land the stun. Can they get the kill over to the Syndra? Looking like they want to, and they'll be able to. Salty already getting a lead in his lane, and this is one of the best scaling champions in the game. This is a phenomenal position for Mystic.
That's the jungle micro you want to see. Jake setting up that gank perfectly, willing to burn the flash, willing to give over the kill, and then also, after doing all of that perfectly, throw up a couple of emotes just to rub that salt in the wound that little bit more. Vile is not going to be feeling great in this game number 1.
Absolutely not. We have Jake here in the top lane. Gotta go for a lane gank. Should be spotted right now. The E was used. Now does still have flash. Uh-oh.
Ryder forced the flash away. Infernal Chains not going to be able to pull the pull back in. They kind of looking like they want to go for the tower, dive into the turret. Will we be able to get the scroll back? Who knows? Shotgun shot sitting in the back pocket. Are they going to commit to this? Jake looking like he wants to. They could do this. Straight on engage with the E. Get the kill over to Jimmy Elbows. Yup, that's a fed Aatrox now too. You gank me, I gank you.
Jake is just putting on an early game jungle masterclass here as we get a trade in the bottom lane, but I think both of them are just going to peel away from it. But yeah, Jake, fantastic on the Zin already. 2 successful ganks in, gave the kills over to the laners. Zin does do well with money in his pocket. It's great for him, but it's even better when you can get it to your laners as, Karma.
We're getting a little dicey here. Both really low here. Ancient Fire and M1. I'm not even gonna bother to attempt to say that name.
Look at Guao.
What?
They want to go for the tower dive. He's coming in around. They have no possible clue. Jake's
they saw him, right?
They call it. Yeah, they call it now. Guao, you have nowhere to go. Has to EQ on out. Getting desperate, maybe looking for a potential re-engage. They're going to think that Guao is gone. Jake, you've got to stick around. You cannot leave. Karma playing a little bit of a dangerous game, walking up that far forward, but with the prio, with the possibilities, they can go straight for this dragon. They're going to go ahead and potentially take it.
So I know what the call was, but I think if Jake wasn't there, they maybe go for the dive. But even then, it's still kind of risky because Flash Barrier, and we're assuming the Arcane Shift is up too. So that play would have been very hard to pull off because Ezreal is just one of those really safe champions. But this will be the Ocean Drake that ends up going over, so they would be feeling very good about that one. Please don't be my second Drake next. Oh.
It was my first Drake and my second Drake.
Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm still in the running. I was like, please no, but okay, never mind. I'm still in the running.
You know what? If this goes to a game 3, I'm guessing Mountain. So let the third dragon be Mountain at that point. You know.
Jake has just been putting on a masterclass here, but now he's getting caught. Whoa, what's
You, while maybe catching out Jake. That's great way damage from long range Rider. Not level 6 yet, can't look for much. As Karma and this Syndra looking to potentially peel for their jungler. Now, this will be the first Void Grubs of the game. Jimmy Elbows has roamed down as well. Do they win out in this 3v4 though? Not quite likely that they can. Is level 6, wants to fight with that World Ender, but his team just got chunked down and forced out of the fight too early.
I think this is much better play too, because Pac has roamed up here as well, so good support roam. Right now we have M1 the Karma here in the middle lane. I'm so Vile has no mana. Okay, should
Maybe Unleash Power, the execute is able to come on down. You can kick your soccer ball all you want, Pac, but that one's not going through the gold post and finding Salty. And he is able to get the kill off onto your mid laner. Should have the Ludens on back now, I believe.
No mana, no flash, no life. I'm Salty just sets that one up perfectly. And again, this game has been a lot about, this series, I will say, has been a lot about supports and junglers making the right plays, being in the right spot at the right time. As I think Jake actually sneaks in here. We see Guo going for the camps instead. So I think Jake, is actually.
We gotta fight bottom lane.
This one away, but bottom lane.
Yep, Karma gets the root straight onto the clock wall. Agent Flash could run away for as long as possible. Flash is away from two. Karma's first to burn up the Flash as well. Pac looking to land the kick toss. It hits Agent Fire. He's looking for it. He's waiting for it. And he forces the Flash out of Agent Fire. They're unable to find the clock wall there. And almost all summoner spells were burned on both sides. Pac crucially holding on to both of theirs.
Real quick, that was Cirque Shoes coming out of Young Adrian right now. So I think that AP build you were mentioning could potentially be coming through. This
is the build. You go Sork Shoes first because a lot of Cockmon's damage is in that magic damage, and then you get a Nashers alongside, I believe it's another AP. I don't know, I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but Nashers is the key here because that Cogma damage, it's Shadow Flame. That's the one to make sure that that W damage when you're executing people on low health crits. Because the W damage is percentage max health based. Kog'Maw is great at shredding tanks. And granted, there isn't a ton of tanks here on Mystics, but it does fine enough at shredding some of these squishies if you put some pen behind it and you give it a little bit of extra AP juice to just bump up those numbers that little bit more.
I like it. Just really good innovation coming out, and Young Adrian doing really well right now. Up 9 CS at the moment. We got 1.5 million pings coming out of the bottom side of the map right now, as it looks like we got a roam into the enemy jungle from Karma and Zinzao. We're spotted on that ward actually, so whoa. With the smite, we'll go ahead and take that blue buff away. They're gonna fight this actually.
Crescent Guard is still online, hasn't used it just yet. Root into the church
He lives!
Out of Guau, he lives! Plastic Fort Jake is able to find the kill. Crescent Guard committed now, turning his sights straight onto Young Adrian. Lands the knockup. This is a little bit too deep, this is a little bit too greedy. Ends up falling to Young Adrian, so it goes 1-for-1. Rest of the team ended up retreating. Unfortunately, Jake did not follow the call.
I think this 1-for-1 is very bad for Mystics. I'm not sure why Guo was walking back in there, but the fact that Adrian gets the kill, Guo got the blue buff, and Jake is the one to pick up kill credit on that Jarvan. The kill means so much more to AFK than it does to Mystics here. This is a huge win for them, even though it is just a 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, I think Salty is dead here in the mid lane. The ultimate is up and lives! Salty's gonna die to the Hwei ultimate. It gets the shutdown. Wait, that was so close. But man, oh man, Salty thinking that they had the damage, but does not have it. Does not have it. The Luden's being completed right now, and I think you're gonna be kicking yourself for that one, so that will be a kill over to the Hwei. It was a shutdown as well, so we'll finish a couple of components. Oh, buys the Dark Seal. That's cheeky. I like what we're cooking here. But this Syndra is still going to be strong, but I think you're going to be really good if you're Vile right now. Like, all right, got the kill. We're good to go. She was not able to flash out of tower range because she had no flash from the earlier play. So really good timing on that one. This does mean that Hwei can be that nuisance, especially with that little bit of injection of gold. But now for now, we got 20 seconds until this next Drake that is coming up. Not anticipating too much to come out of that. I mean, right now, Young Adrian and Pac are being pushed in. Just if they really wanted to, Mystics could force this lane into the tower right now, but looks like it's just going to be neutral as Jake is coming down here right now for maybe a lane gank. This would be a really risky lane gank, I think.
I think also just trying to set up and get the wave pushing in and make sure that they are ready to rotate to this dragon. They want to make sure that AFK is not stacking in case it is one of these really impactful souls like Infernal or Hextech that are still both up and available for both the predictions and for AFK, as we're going to see here. Mystic is just going to take the second dragon away, and I think AFK is fine with giving this up. It's 3 dragons minimum to the next soul once this one is taken down, so they've got time in. Chippy gets one on the board. It's an Infernal soul.
All right, you can have that one, Chippy. You can have that one. But now I'm curious to see if we learned from our previous mistakes for the Void Grubs for the side of AFK. So we're same thing as last game, is 2-1 right now. It looks like they will be getting the prio first, and they will be starting them first. As Jake is going to the mid lane right now, most likely we'll get a play on to Vile. Vile still doesn't have flash, but this is better from them in this game, I would say. It looks like they're not even going to go ahead and contest. They're going to try to make a play on the bottom lane instead. But it looks like that young Adrian is mildly aware, but still sticking around here. Is clearing the way
for your life. Wave clear for your life, Adrian, because Jake is in the area, and so is Salty. You can see that Cinder on the top of your screen start to rotate down, and I don't know if Kogma's going to win this one.
He missed the W! And he gets the knock up into the true shot dodge. Barrier comes on out. He's trying to stop for as long as possible, but Jake able to find the kill. Maybe the Kog... Nah, healing.
Burn the heal?
I don't really agree with burning the heal. I think you could have just shielded him, and he would have been fine.
I think the shield must have been on cooldown, but I think even if you don't burn the heal there, it's early enough in the game that Kogma doesn't do that much damage. He doesn't kill there.
He just does not kill there at all. But the Void Grubs were traded on the other side of the map. Oh, hello, Guo. We are chilling in darkness. Right now, Salty doesn't know that, but is playing to the bottom side, so might be aware because that indicator for the Void Grubs did go off earlier. Really good respect play from Salty. We'll just go ahead and hold this wave for a hot second and let it slowly, come back to the middle. And we're at that state right now in the game, 700 gold, 800 rather, in favor for Mystics. This is about how it was in the previous game up until some objective fights started going wrong. So we're getting almost, I won't say an exact picture perfect repeat of the previous game, because this time the Void Grubs went in the other direction. But Guo is in danger right now. Seen in the jungle, does not have the extra blast cone, can be collapsed on, and the top laner's not here.
Jungle v jungler. Guo getting absolutely pummeled to death right now.
And
Flag and drag over the wall, but he's
stun!
committed. Jake is committed, and honestly,
oh my god,
he flashed away from the whale. Jake is crawled up. Jake is absolutely him. He is popping off on this jungle right now, making these plays, getting aggressive, playing how a Xin Zhao should. This, if you're at home and you're struggling to rank up, study how this man is playing Xin Zhao, because holy, he says, I don't care if your team feels like you're stronger ahead. I don't care if you feel like you can win these fights. I'm playing aggressive. I'm pulling my team to play off me, and it's absolutely working.
That Eclipse first item coming in so clutch for Jake. Not only that extra damage, but the big shield, meaning that Ryder couldn't trade back, burned the Ignite on the Plague as well, just couldn't find it. And again, I came into today thinking that AFK was going to be the better team, but Mystics are playing like a well-oiled machine. Jake is in the right place at the right time, making these ganks and these plays happen consistently every single time, and the team right behind him, making sure that anytime that Jake is going in, being aggressive, Salty's there with a follow-up stun, Karma's there with an extra shield, Jimmy is rotating to make sure that they can get more out of it. This is just some brilliant jungle and team synergy coming through in this game number 2.
The one thing I have to highlight as well is Guo was walking into the enemy jungle with no prio from the top lane because Ryder had just backed prior to that. So unfortunate timing there, I think, and this will also signal the Rift Crowd going as well. They know they can't fight this. And I reiterate once again, we do not fight while we need to scale. Okay. We were thinking about
you saw that flag go down, and I felt your heart stop. I felt it just like sit and wait to see if the Q follow-up came through.
I was really hoping it wouldn't, especially because there was not really much of a numbers advantage there. It was 4v4, but I think in terms of strength advantage, it would not have worked well. I think Salty is dead. It just kills him. Yep, that is the unleashed power. We have been outplayed by the outplay button, and that means a dead Kogma. Jake here in the top lane. They're probably gonna dive this Kled here.
No change. This is Q3. The Herald comes out. They're sending everything at this Kled. They do not want him to be able to win. He's gonna be able to engage Jake.
Couldn't go.
He needs to knock up. He needs to knock up. One more auto. He finds it. Goes under the turret. Jake is an absolute living legend right now. Where's Finn the Human when you need him? Honestly, at this game, it might be this Syndra.
This is a decidedly incredible set of games from Mystic. I think coming into the series, I said it, there are people saying they were not coming in as the favorites here. Even if our desk, I think, was playing for the upset here and looking for Mystics 2-0. AFK won the last split, as far as I remember, if the stats are to be believed. AFK is a very good team. They did lose some players, but they are still a very good team. They field good players, and they have good, just fundamentals around them. But, man, this is just a different machine from Mystics. They are just coming in so strong and playing with confidence, and that's what you love to see.
Especially because AFK made it a pretty far run on dominant last split. So seeing this right now, they think they did move some players from the previous split. Do we have a potential fight coming out in the bottom lane? Nope, but we are getting the mid lane tier 1. This will be another objective over to the side of Mystics. They're feeling pretty good. They're over 4,000 gold ahead right now, so crossing 60 minutes into the game. I haven't talked much about like item spikes right now. As we can see, we have first items across the board pretty much for pretty much everybody except for the Karma for obvious reasons. And I won't say we're exactly at. Oh, we have the Rage Blade coming out first from Yanidri, and this is not what you were thinking would happen.
Yeah, this was the part of the build that I forgot. You go Ginsu's first, and then it is Nashor's Shadow Flame. That's on me. I didn't remember the exact build path, but Ginsu's is sort of the just starter item because of all the other AD carry items getting nerfed. It didn't really get touched, and it's just a good on-hit item. Kog'Maw already has good on-hit in his kit, so you can already apply it fairly well.
Crossing over to that 5,000 mark in terms of gold, the objective bounties are going to be active right now. This is kind of falling further and further away out of favor for AFK right now. Because at this point in the previous game, there was still hope, but I think that we're seeing that hope slowly just fade away for AFK in this game. They need time. They need those items. This Kog'Maw is only on 1 right now. Sure, is going to be pumping out a lot of damage, but not as much as this Kog'Maw is going to need to. And I think with how Mystics are currently playing this comp with the bottom lane, you know, the Ezreal Karma, they've been pretty annoying in the laning phase the whole time, poking out Pac and young Adrian the whole time, and just making their lives miserable in that lane. And we're kind of seeing that right now. Storm Surge now being completed on this Syndra. That is 2 items. This girl is going to blow up Kog'Maw. Even heard the GGs coming out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, let's be quite frank. On this patch, before Storm Surge gets nerfed, what is stronger than Syndra with Luden's Storm Surge? Like, what is stronger? It's the best thing literally on the patch in the mid lane at the moment.
Storm Surge and Shadow Flame maybe, but then you're out of mana a lot and you have to be a little bit more careful. But yeah, this
It's
is
the
just
burst
like,
damage though. That Luden's
yeah, this is the
proc.
mage bread and butter. This is what they do.
this is why I need to start playing Zoe again, because we have the exact items that I would build on her right now at this very moment. Because
oh no, Jake is fighting this every day of the week. Jake's fighting this. Once you get the engage on the pocket, soccer ball kicked away.
Messy.
so we thought. Oh, shoot. No, anyways.
I'm glad you said Messi and not Fraud Naldo.
Oh, Fraud Nardo. We're getting spicy here. So I'm so Vile looks like we got Dove here in the bottom lane. Should just
Shot away. Vile forces out the flash, but Jake goes under the turret. Gets complete. The true shot barrage is going to be enough damage. Quail is being able to get it. Does he die?
Oh!
He kills the Karma.
He felt bad. He felt bad that AFK is getting shellacked this badly. He was like, no. Vile, you can have a kill back. I'll sacrifice my support to make sure you get something out of the play.
Yeah, it should be the top or bot tier 2 rather. They should just get this tower. So that's another injection of gold. Looks like they're gonna split it instead of kind of go solo with it. But another injection of gold. This makes this bottom lane a very long lane now for anyone who potentially gets caught up that far. You can see that AFK is trying to break open this mid tier 1 to get something back and open up that side of the map. But there's just not much that they can do to get that right now. Is actually, I want to look at the gold leads right now myself. It's 1,200 gold behind for the side of this Kog'Maw. You're not feeling good about where that is. 1,000 also in the mid lane, but I mean, it's a 4-kill Syndra, so understandable. But I'm not sure what you do here as AFK.
Look at top lane though. That's 2,000 in favor of this Aatrox. We have not talked about Jimmy Elbows at all. We've been focusing a lot, and I think rightly so, on the Karma, on Jake, on this Xin, and on I'm Salty on this Syndra because they hit the power spikes. But just slowly and safely, Jimmy Elbows has built up a massive lead in what is supposed to be a Kled favored matchup in this top lane.
Yeah, and I was the one that said this would be a rough matchup for the Kled, but has been bullied throughout this game, has been unable to get any sort of agency in any of these fights because either just no flash or been dismounted when the fight began. Kled, when he's dismounted, does not do much. And without that W, you're not going to stack that remount passive too much anyways. And that's just what makes this matchup so hard. But does have an item and a half, as we have AFK all on the top side of the map. They won't start this Baron, and I don't even think they could do it fast enough anyways. They do lots of damage to it. I think if Kog'Maw maybe had Dasher Suit, they would think about something of a sneak here. But this Infernal Drake is up. This will be Infernal's sole point for Mystics. Yeah, they're going to try to flip this. There's no way.
They're threatening. Kog'Maw does shred this, but this is such a risky call. Mystics has so much good Baron poke between Syndra, Ezreal, and Karma.
I think leave the Xin Zhao. Leave the Xin Zhao down there. Everyone else, they can win this 4v5. Honestly, if they just play smart, they play around each other.
The elbows.
On Jimmy's elbows. So File's the one getting initiated on right now. Look at that burst damage. Nearly already took Kled out there.
No.
Off the scroll immediately in the unleashed power. That's essentially one dead
Oh,
on
oh,
a
buddy.
scroll. And that is absolutely flipped on its head. They get the dragon too. It's disastrous for AFK. And they're going to take their turn on the Baron. This time it's a 5v4. Jinzhao moving up into the fight. We'll have that smite. Is I'm So Vile and Guao going to look for something? Salty trying to find a spot out.
Salty.
Whale comes out. Okay, Vile, it's a 4v4 now. It's even on up. That Syndra, the carry, already taken out of this game. But Agent Fire is still alive. It can still pump out tons of damage. Karma taking a good chunk from this Baron, trying to heal on up with play damage, popping down on them too. They're just going to take the fight out, get the reset. They got this dragon. They still feel like they can take it. And Jake, like the gets immediately into the J4 ultimate. That's a shutdown. It's absolutely massive. Young Adrian eating the True Shot Barrage as long with the Q is chunking him down to a quarter of HP. Jimmy Elbows maybe trying to stop a recall. Unfortunately not going to be able to. And that was all over the place.
The recall was a bait! The recall was a bait! I cannot believe they pulled that off. Vile baited with that recall. It baited Jake in, and Jake gets blown up. That's a 300 gold shutdown that went over. So, well, unfortunately, the dragon did go over earlier. The Baron wasn't taken by either side. We got a large injection of gold into I'm So Vile. So, I think you're okay with that. If you're AFK, maybe that was the plan all along, was to not take the Baron and turn for a fight anyways. I wouldn't say it was necessarily completely successful because they now have to be forced to fight this next Drake in 3 minutes, because giving an Infernal Soul to an Ezreal, a Karma, a Xin Zhao, screw it. The whole team, they're just going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to be very, very unfortunate.
You see, fights like that are why I like being a play-by-play, because I like to shout at the pretty colors, and that was a very exciting fight. How do you analyze that? What do you say about that fight? It was a desperation call from AFK.
As you can see there, Jim, you know, if the Syndra, you know, threw a Q, and it has a 3-second cooldown, that's where you can see that the Wei, you know, was able to come on in and find that pixel perfect snare on the root, and decided to use the W proc on the paintbrush because he saw the Syndra use the Q. So in that fight, that's how that went down.
It was a desperation call from AFK. And I get it. They need that desperation. I'm gonna have to put that on pause. As
Oh my God.
It's looking a little desperate for Jake right now, but wow, maybe
he's dead.
out, gets fleet away. Yep, Jake, I'm sorry, but you need to take the foot off the gas here for a minute. I know Xin Zhao falls off harder than J4 into the later half of the game. Trust me, I'm aware, but you need to step the foot off the gas a little bit, because dying here means you get put on a 30+ second respawn timer. And AFK, it might be in their name, but they ain't gonna be AFK for 30 seconds while you're dead, man.
Oh, here we go. Kled ultimate in the mid lane. Oh, never mind, it missed. We were hyping it up and then nothing happened.
Did it? Oh, Agent Fire gets caught out. He's retreating to the wrong jungle side. And now the side of AFK moving on up, trying to get position, trying to get onto this Baron. 5 seconds until Xin Zhao's up. So realistically, they might take a little bit of a back off. Maybe.
Vile.
Ulti gets the scout of the week. Forces the flash out of Vile. Vile has to retreat. Wow is saying, okay, let's cancel this recall. Fight's starting to break down. I need to be here for this team. But realistically, what can he get done? The poke damage is where we need to see Mystic come back online. They got Syndra, they got Ezreal, but they're not utilizing their poke very well. Scout of the week gonna go wide on trying to find Ryder. And AFK takes a little bit of a step back. We got about a minute before this next dragon. It's Soul Point. It could be a game decider. Oh, Jimmy! You almost ended the game right there. Potentially looking to chase down Guao. Finds the red buff. Can they be able to find a kill? No one's going to be chilling with Blasco right there. Scout of the week is not going to be able to find the stun off there. Looking like they want to pressure top side. Get this tier 2 if possible. And then maybe play for this next dragon. But guys, this has got to be a game-deciding fight coming up here soon.
Ryder.
Base checks. The Scroll's still alive. He's gonna stay alive for as long as possible. Gets bursted down. Milio shielding and healing. It's absolutely phenomenal though. And Ryder stays alive. They're gonna push into this top side tier 2.
So you remember how I said that, like, Lulu's one of the best enchanters in the game? Enchanters are just good right now. As you can see, 3 games, I think, 2 games, and we've had just Enchanter on Enchanter Violets consistently here. 4 picks, 4 Enchanters. They're keeping the team alive. And Hawk, again, coming up big there to make sure that Ryder doesn't get picked, because if one person gets picked, that might just be Baron.
Wow. Goes on to the Syndra, forces the flash on out. Ryder gets the ult.
What a
push! Holy, what a push away. You got the Colette ult gone. You got the J4 ult gone. You got the Hui ult gone. Dragon up in about 7 seconds. What do you have in your pocket? Salty has TP. And Jimmy Elbows has TP. No World Ender. No True Shot Barrage. But you got the Crescent Guard. You got the Unstoppable Power. Can you take a fight here? Who do we need to execute? I'm looking at Guao. I'm looking at the 80 carry. Adrian potentially cut out. Nope. He's not going to find the angle. Jake. You know, you've been a menace all game. Can you find something here? Can you find something when your team absolutely needs it? Ryder has already started up the dragon with Wow. Vision's gonna get spotted on out. Ryder gets rooted by the Karma. Engage. No Cataclysm. He's caught out in a 4v1. Crescent Guard committed. They push this Kled straight into the team. And he gets evaporated by Salty. The Unstoppable Power coming on out. And now flashing for Wow. Jimmy Elbows trying to find the kill. He gets scared away. Ancient Fire with a Mystic shot from downtown. Might have just given his team the Infernal Soul. Even the Scuttlebug is in there on the pit. He gets a double kill. This Ezreal is going crazy, looking for the triple kill.
Oh my God.
He gets it. He's absolutely firing on all cylinders here tonight.
I had a really
fire.
Okay. So I don't know if either of you had have camps up on your other monitor, but I don't know if you saw me like pointing, because I 100% think that what could have happened is AFK could have flipped Baron for Soul on that one, because we already know that Mystic wants it. I think we could have flipped it, but I think it was a really intense fight from Mystic there. It ends up being, I think, a 4 for nothing, I think, at the end of that play, and they just get the Infernal Soul. So that's another massive power spike for them. The gold lead is just 9,000-ish. Almost 8K.
9,000. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then you add those 3 Infernal Drakes on top of it as well. And I do like to canonize in my head that a Drake is about 200-300 gold, so it'll be adding on to that as well. So this gold lead will feel more than it is. And right now, I think fights just get so much harder. I mean, this Kog'Maw does have 2.5 items. I'm not sure what that 3rd item is gonna be. Probably just. What are you thinking?
Giant's Belt?
I mean, with the Giant's Belt, my first thought is Rylai's with this AV Kog'Maw, but I did also want to point out, speaking of items, an item change that I think slipped under the radar that nobody has talked about. Cyrilda's Grudge no longer scales with lethality. It's just back to being 30% flat pen, not flat pen, but 30% armor pen, no matter what, how much extra stats you build. This item is good again on Ezreal. You don't have to build lethality items to make it good anymore. So now it's back to being the Ezreal Rylai's item that it used to be.
Yeah, we have absolute annoyance. Looks like bot lane, we got a 1v1 happening as I'm Salty is not gonna die, but oh my God, that was close. Is being started on the other side of the map. I don't think there is a way they could stop this.
Kog'Maw's going for the kill. There's no way to
No! Damn.
Passive? Does he get this?
Oh! Who got it? Who got the Baron? He got the Baron, the Jake, there's so much happening right now. What is happening?
Guo got the Baron steal off camera because we were watching the Kog'Maw passive taken down. I'm Salty. AFK are still in the game.
I wish we could go back. I need the last 2 minutes back, please. I need them back. I need to look back at it. What the heck just happened?
I didn't think Guo was actually able to do it. I didn't think that he was psycho enough to go for the 50-50, but it ended up being successful on that one.
Can we scroll over to the bear pit right now? Because I want to point out, it's the fact that there was that ward in the back of the pit not touched by the pink. Guo had vision that entire time.
Oh my god, what an amazing call out of that one for that Britty. And the thing is, too, is they saw Guo on the other side, so they probably thought he wouldn't be psycho enough to go for it, but that is what you want to see from your jungler, especially those hero moments that can stabilize the game. Now, they're still 6,500 gold behind just about. The next big objective is going to be this Elder in about 2 minutes, assuming we make it that long. But man, oh man, AFK are fighting, and they do not want this series to end. They want this to go to 3 games. They want us to have to yap and scream through a whole other game. And you know what? At this point, if this is what we're gonna get, I'm looking forward to it. What is Kog'Maw doing? Is this a Jack Show 3rd?
I don't think Jack Show builds out of Giant Spell. I think it's just a Ruby Crystal.
It doesn't, and that's why I'm confused.
Just Kanik?
Kanik doesn't use a Giant Spell. That's just Spectre's Cowl and Negatron Cloak.
So give me elbows. Okay.
Give me elbows on the flank. Jake's looking for Adrian.
Wall gets slowed on back.
Oh my god!
It's absolutely massive, and they get absolutely decimated. Right there's the last one standing. You can take your Baron, you can take our Syndrome, but you cannot take our will, our determination to put you AFK in the fountain. We are called Mystics. Agent Fire firing off the Mystic shots. Wow, the last one remaining. Standing, has to try and maybe hold on to this flash. Has to use it just barely the last second. He's the last line of defense. The King of Demacia might not be able to withstand the full force of the Mystics. And in one last-ditch fight out of nowhere, Mystics come out on top 2-0 in this game on a Sunday afternoon. We absolutely defeat the undefeated AFK.
I just want to call out. I was watching the cameras on the other monitor as DVZ called out earlier. I was interested. As soon as that Estral landed, I watched all 3 of us leap out of our seats because that was one of the best Ezreal ults I have ever seen. We were talking all about Jake in the early game and how incredible this Inzal was. Made a couple of mistakes, made a couple of misplays here and there, got caught out, but Agent Fire picked up the slack and ran with it. Absolutely blew through the lines of AFK again and again.
I didn't even see his Salty TP behind. I think it was both Jimmy and Salty that TP'd behind for that play. But man, oh man, just when we thought AFK was back in the game, it was stripped from them immediately. The True Shot barrage, the scatter, the Storm Surge blowing up as well.
Yeah.
But good God, just we blinked and the game was over just like that, just bringing it immediately to a 2-0 victory for Mystics. And I gotta say, they had good macro that whole time. Jake's pathing was insane. The individual leader, like prowess from these players was incredible. What a good game to come in, and Mystics now taking the 2-0. I do believe because you said they had to reschedule a game, right? So that
yes, their week one game got rescheduled due to a competitive ruling. I don't have all the details on that, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it does mean that Mystics is now currently, I believe, 2-0 in Dominate, as I think now matching up records with KFC, depending on how their game goes today, obviously. But they are vying for a spot at the top of the table here. And this is a team that other teams need to be aware of and be prepared for in the future. This was an incredible series for them. We had our doubts on the desk. Oh my God. Echo into Janna. What the heck is going on? Oh my God. This game 2 draft. It's like, this Kog'Maw is so good here. What do they do? They just entirely shut us up. I'll take my lumps. I said 2-0 AFK. I was entirely wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. That was a banger series for Mystic.
We got it right, Cilantro, but at what cost did we get it right?
My dragons. It costed my dragons. I was 2-0-2 on the dragons.
I got 1 for 2 on the dragons, and it cost me my series prediction.
Did we show post game already, or were we just yapping through that whole time? Because the Syndra damage was 22,000. She did 22,000 damage that game. Ezreal being the most next after that as well. And Xin Zhao doing 18,000 damage as well. Just Jake was all over the map in the right places. It was insane.
Going forward in this fall split, Dominant, that man is going to be the one to watch. One to
Yeah,
beat.
here's our post game.
He
Look
is-
at those numbers.
Jake is an absolute disgusting animal on the Rift right now. It's clear that he's like he's like out of his
He's locked
cage
in.
at the moment.
He's locked in.
He's
And-
everywhere,
yeah.
anywhere, everywhere, all at once.
And yeah, he missed a smite on Baron because they didn't expect Woe to actually be that insane to jump in
Who
there.
cares? The J4 did less than 5k damage.
Yeah, that G4 I mean, we talk about damage numbers as a stat here, but I do also want to say Quo had a couple of really good games. That Jarvan Hive Mind was working out for AFK in the early game. They had that lead in the top lane. Jarvan was making impact on the map, but Jake said, anything you could do, I could do better, and just got his team an even bigger lead. And again, I want to point out, in the early game especially, giving kills to your laners as a jungler, in competitive especially, is one of the most overpowered things you can do. Giving your laners leads wins you games.
Dominant's a banger right now.
Dominant's a banger.
The first week's games were awesome. I watched last week's games as well. That was a banger. And man, I'm truly stoked for how this league is gonna go this split. We're in for a really fun time. I had a lot of fun today. Like, did you guys have as much fun as I did? Because that was insane.
Oh, Mystics pulled everything out of the bag. It was so back and forth. It was so phenomenal to watch.
It was
An absolute incredible series. But I think that's going to be it for us today on the desk. Thank you all so much for joining us. I've been What's Up Birdie. That's been DBZ. I'm not used to. That's been DBZ.
Well,
Yes.
he's over there.
That's
He's over
DBZ,
there.
and then all the way over there, Cilantro. Chippy, our producer in the back, making sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more dominant action. Have a good night.